Hello, it is Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It's a Wednesday crossword today, so midweek, mid-difficulty themed puzzle, and we can see a circled cell in the grid, and it also looks like this puzzle is a bit taller than usual. Maybe taller and slimmer, perhaps. Let's see. Yeah, it's 16 tall. An ordinary New York Times crossword, an ordinary daily crossword is 15 by 15. This is 16 by, I'm guessing, 14, maybe? Yeah, it is. Right. Interesting. Okay, well, we'll see what that's about, if anything. I assume it's that way for a reason. In any case, today's slightly more vertical edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Mike from Vermont, Casey Brandt, and, as always, the indomitable Shoalmaster and the indefinable Charlie Paget. Thank you so much to the four of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for their generous support. They, of course, sustain this channel. They keep it going day in, day out, and week in, week out, and for that, I'm very grateful. If you would like to support the channel that way, you can head to patreon.com/dailysolve or click the description field link. You'll find bonus videos available to patrons, and that includes the most recent patron video Q&A that I put up the other day, and also for benefactors like those I've just mentioned, there's the Let's Check the Crosses official mug. Thank you to everybody who supports the channel at any level via Patreon. All right, let's get on to today's crossword, the second New York Times crossword by Zhou Zhang. It's a Wednesday-themed crossword. Has slightly unusual dimensions. We'll hopefully find out what, if anything, that means. And it was edited, as always, by Will Shortz. Let's start solving. Of course, there's also, there are several circled cells as well. It might be rigged. You might rig a game or a ship, maybe. SF transit option. Muni BART. Rig a sail. SF transit option. So there's Muni, which is the San Francisco City transportation network, and then there's BART, which is the Bay Area Rapid Transport Rail System. What else would there be? SF transit option. I'm just trying to think of something that would fit with it might be rigged. I don't know. For some reason, I can't get this. No way. Wildlife that may nest on Hawaiian golf courses. The nene, the Hawaiian goose. So that would suggest to me that the SF transit option, San Francisco transit option, might be Muni, which is a bus and metro system. It might be rigged. A main, like a mainsail? I'm not sure. No way. No. I'm standing right here, you know. Ahem. One end of the day. What does that mean? One end of the day. I'm not sure. Anything sounds good to me. I'm easy. I mean, and I wonder what's going on with these circled cells. Could be a rebus. Could just be four letters that spell something. I'm not sure. Sister goddesses who personify destiny. Might be rigged. Why can I not see what this is? I don't know. Genre for Blackpink or BTS. This, at least, I recognize. Couldn't tell you much about them, but I do know that they are K-pop bands or groups. Hurricane, that's the subject of the 2006 documentary When the Levees Broke. That was Hurricane Katrina. Vessel's front is its prow. Statement in a courtroom, you might make an oath if you're giving testimony. Oh, here's another statement in a courtroom. Right, you might make a plea if you're a defendant. So Aral Sea, shrinking body of water that was once the world's third largest lake. Yep. Bag with handles is a tote bag. And then what's anything sounds good to me? I'm up for whatever. I think there might be a rebus in here. This might be up. Oops. Oh, don't know why it sometimes does that when I press enter and sometimes doesn't. Yeah, let me just put that in and then I'll go back to the rebus. So these circled cells, I'm guessing in this puzzle, it feels like this is correct, but we'll have to test it out and see. that we're using a rebus, which in the context of the New York Times crossword means you can enter rebus mode. There's a button here. You can press escape if you're solving on a computer with a keyboard, and you can type as many letters as you like into a single cell. But today I'm only going to type 2. I'm going to type up because I'm up for whatever. Although it could be I'm down for whatever, actually, now that I think about it. That's one of those funny phrases where up and down can mean the same thing in this particular context. I'm down for whatever. Right. Oh, sundown. Oh, sun up and sundown, maybe. Well, yeah, one end of the day. That's very cleverly, ambiguously phrased. So this is not no, but rather And the answer to this is sun up or sun down. Which do I think I should? I suspect it will accept either one because I'm up for whatever, I'm down for whatever, sun up, sun down. These are both, all of these, each of these is valid for its clue. Right. Oh, that's very clever. I wonder if the rest of them will be up and down or if there will be different kind of opposing and yet equivalent words. One aspect to consider in making a decision. Upshot, downshot, no, not downshot. Basic. Oh, let's come back to it. Let's get this going first. It might be rigged, so it is a mast of a ship. So it was nautical at least. Sister goddesses who personify destiny, the fates, of course. There we go from Greek myth. Pokeball fish is ahi. What have we here? Oh ho! You might exclaim. All right, so here's one of these basic couturier offering. So this is fashion. A two-tone? No. I assume this will be a word with an opposing version that could fit. One aspect to consider in making a decision. I don't know. Same here. As am I or as do I, something like that. I just want to get some more help on that so I can try and infer what it is. Rascals. Imps, maybe? Troublesome children? Oh. A side, B side? One aspect to consider. One side, other side? A and B, basic couturier offering. I don't know. On one hand, on the other hand, no. I don't know. I can't quite see what it is. Let's find some crosses here, see if that'll help. Perennially struggling with. If you're perennially struggling with something, you're beset by it or something by it. I don't know. It's how the story goes. An arc, like a story arc. Maybe something at perennially struggling with. Expression of disapproval. Tut, maybe, like tut, tut, tut. Or it could be tisk, like that kind of sound. Let's see. Apt letters missing from center. No. I'm not sure. I can't quite see what it is. I mean, presumably, we're going to have a 5-letter word missing from here that is relevant to the larger word that we spell in quotation marks, but I'm not sure. Like pea soup fog. It's thick, thick fog. They used to say that in London. It's a real pea souper, the thick London fog in the kind of industrial era. Basic couturier offering. Button something? Button down, button up. Oh, right, it's just up and down again. Right, of course. Why did I not realize that? The upside and the downside. You consider one aspect you consider in a decision is the upside, but you also consider the downside and you weigh them against each other. Sorry about that. I don't know why I didn't immediately just assume it was going to be up, down again. So are these going to be up, down as well then? Let's see. One orientation of a playing card during a magic trick. Yes, face up, face down. I'm in the bottom half of the grid, so now I'm putting down. Devour is to gobble up or gobble down. Those both work. And here we're going to have down, I think. And one tool for scrolling on a computer, the down key or the up key. And then failing epically. Going down the river, going up the river, something like that. I think those both can be. I'm not sure this is right. Let's just check the crosses and see. Quechua speaker. Is that Inca? Prominent feature of an alpaca, wool. I think this is probably wrong. Is it? Do I think it's wool? I'm not sure if I do. Foundation for a proposal. Latin behold, ecce. Goes on and on and on. Yaks. Yeah, this is Inca. Okay, that's what I thought. So what's the foundation for a proposal? The knee. You bend down on your knee to propose marriage, for instance. Prominent feature of an alpaca. Ah, their neck. Yes, they do have long necks. Okay. So buttery confections are what? Toffees, I guess? Is toffee buttery? I guess it must be. So what's failing epically? Going down in flames or going up in flames. There we go. That's what it is. Great. Good. Okay, well, now we've solved the whole theme, I think. So that was good. That was very well, impressively constructed, I think. Anyway, Bel Canto and Patchett novel. That's a great novel. I really like it. Ticket seller's take would be a fee. Come on, help me out. Do be a deer, something like that. I don't know. Talking point. Ad hoc. I don't think that's right. Not sure. State of confusion. You could be in a haze. Value. To value something could be to prize it. Letters on some moisturizer bottles would be SPF for sun protection. Factor if it's also sunblock. Reputation or Midnights for Taylor Swift. Right, era. We had a very similar clue to this one the other day. I don't remember if they were the same words, but yeah, I know she has that Eras tour, so this must be related to that. Flower part would be, the sepal. Yeah, I remember learning these in biology class many, many years ago. Talking point, a topic, right, of course. And then, come on, help me out. Be a pal, maybe? Diving position with bent hips and straight legs. Bent hips and straight legs. I don't actually know names of diving positions. Oops. Little could be mini, maybe. Scraped out could be eked out. If you scraped out a living, you eked out a living, you could say. And if one hides a tear, say, or hides a tear, maybe it could be. Okay, so diving position with bent hips and straight legs. Is it a pike? Maybe, I'm not sure. Hides a tear. Oh, yes, right. Sews, maybe. You sew a garment to repair a tear, to hide a tear. All over is anew. We do it again. We do it anew. Screw them. Oh, this is wrong. Lids. Oh, scraped out. Sorry about that. I misread this. So scraped out, of course, leads to eked out. You have to match the tense. So yeah, it can be helpful to use things in a sentence, which I tried to do. I literally did not actually use the correct word, but it helps if you use the word that's written. Okay, not at home. Maybe I should go back up to where I left off. I've got some unfinished bits of the grid. Arthur, who was posthumously awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I think this is the tennis player Arthur Ashe. And if you're perennially struggling with something, you're bad at it. Yeah, you could say so, I guess. Aptly, usher. Custom. Customers, users. Yes, there we go. So the apt letters missing from C blank blank TOM blank 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 are USERS for users, and it's apt because the whole word you spell as a result of that is customers, and you could describe your customers as the users of your product or service. Okay, so philosophy followed by Benjamin Franklin is deism, which was the case for some of the other American framers as well. And then saying, perhaps, would be musing on a topic. Control-Z is the shortcut key on Windows computers to undo. And where to get some fresh air. That's an interview program with Terry Gross on NPR in the United States. If you're exhausted, you're spent. And honor among thieves goes the phrase. Same here. So yes, so we've now disambiguated this to as am I. Who often brushes dirt off home plate? The umpire, I suppose, must do that. And then highs that could appear 4 more times in this puzzle. Right, very good. Ups. I wonder if we can have downs somewhere. Maybe here? Yes. Lows that could appear 4 more times in this puzzle. We have our downs. That's very nice. I wasn't expecting there to be another element of the theme, but we've got ups and downs, each one of which can appear between, I guess, 1 and 5 times total in the puzzle if you count these little extra bits here. Key worker would be a typist. They literally work with keys on the keyboard. I'm so great. Yeah, me, or something like that. Creatives may jot them in a notebook. Ideas. Rock's Iron Maiden is a rock band. Some absurdist art could be Dadaist, Dada art. And then, sort of early mid-20th century movement, I guess. And then contents of some boats could be gravy. Yes, you could have a gravy boat with a meal, a feast. Router hookup would be a modem, and a trap is a snare. So NBA or MLB VIPs are right. So these are general managers of sports teams, and then yay me was the answer there. Gary Oldman or Ian McKellen, E.G. is a sir. They've been knighted for their services to the arts. Some computers and televisions are Sony computers and televisions. Extra is an add-on. Once more is again. Roman goddess of fertility is Diana. Is it Diane or Diana? I think it's Diana. So if you're not at home, you're away. The Prancing Pony and Admiral Benbow are fictional ones. Fictional inns. They certainly sound like inns or pubs. What would they be from? The Prancing Pony. Is that perhaps the Lord of the Rings? I think that might be the case. I don't think I know the Admiral Benbow. That doesn't ring a bell to me. Anyway, let's finish this off. The government group with cryptologists on staff would be the NSA, the National Security Agency, I think. And there we go. That was a great Wednesday crossword. Very fun. And look, we've had all of our crossing cells there replaced with up/down. So I guess actually I was wrong that each individual word could appear between 0 and 5, 1 and 5 times, depending on how you count these. In fact, each one appears 5 times by the end because they've forced them all into the grid. There we go. So we had sun up, sun down. I'm up for whatever. I'm down for whatever. Button up, button down. Upside, downside. Gobble up, gobble down. Face up, face down. Up key, down key, and going up in flames and going down in flames. Very nice collection. I'm glad that they all ended up being the same word. It's sort of more impressive, or the same pair of words. It's more impressive to have found so many phrases that, so there are 8 phrases that fit here, and then all needed to be fit into a crossword. So there didn't end up being a specifically thematic reason why the puzzle was slightly narrower and taller than a typical puzzle, but I suspect it was in order to, for some sort of construction reason to accommodate getting all of these phrases, especially probably the longer phrases that in this grid span the full width to fit. So, yeah, really, really good job, Zhou Shang. This is a great crossword and a nice Wednesday puzzle. It felt well-tuned to me for a Wednesday. It wasn't too difficult, but there was a revealer in there. So, there was a rebus, I should say, which is less common on a Wednesday. It's not unheard of on a Wednesday, but it's less common than it might be on, say, a Thursday or a Sunday. So it's nice to have a slightly more approachable remainder of the grid in order to kind of balance it out and stick to that midweek difficulty. So that was a great crossword. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. Let me know how you fared in the comments or the Daily Solve Discord chat server, which is a nice friendly chat community linked in the description field. This is the kind of puzzle where I could imagine myself having, before I was solving these crosswords on video, this was the kind of puzzle I could imagine myself having just sort of solved it without thinking about the alternating element of this and just sort of put in whichever, once I figured out the rebus, just putting in whichever one I thought worked, not necessarily thinking very much about it. I don't know. That could be wrong, but let me know if you had an experience like that, or if you started to suspect what was going on right from the beginning, as I believe I did with once I started putting the rebus in there. I think that's when it seemed clear to me. Always curious to know how other people interact with these, so let me know. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow for the Thursday edition of the crossword. Do consider subscribing to the channel if you've been enjoying these, and I hope you're back for what might be a more interesting, well, I shouldn't say more interesting because this was a very interesting theme, but perhaps a more difficult themed puzzle tomorrow on Thursday. Join me for that, but until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Wednesday. Take care.